Osman, thank you so much for meeting me this evening and really appreciate your time and sharing your success story to inspire everyone out there, all the international talent out there to share your story. And thanks for giving your time this evening.
You're welcome, Sunny. It's been a pleasure joining ElevateMe and your team and collaborating with different even what is it, job seekers who are like also enthused and who are like basically happy to join the team and are willing to learn on themselves, also contributing to day-to-day technical training and practical interview questions, how they answer it and prepare it. It was great for me and how I prepared towards my interview and my success in landing my job.
That's a great feedback, Osman. Appreciate that. Thanks so much for sharing. So, Osman, of course, now you have a job offer and it's amazing and all that. But I want to go back and talk about a little bit, before you joined Elevate Me and like tell us a little bit about the struggles and what you were facing challenges and tell us a life before Elevate Me.
Life before ElevateMe was challenging in terms of like the number of applications I had to submit, how I have to prepare for interviews, for example, especially the initial screening phase. There are cases where you are asked a question, which is just basic question, but you have difficulty and you have lack of confidence in how you approach and how you answer the question. So ElevateMe actually provided this platform for me to actually learn on how to answer questions and pass the screening process because most interviews that come in your way has to do with passing the initial phase of the interview
Mm.
because if you fail to pass the initial phase of the interview, you just lose confidence. So that was one of the things that I was lacking. So joining ElevateMe, I was able to join a team where I practice my behavioral interview, technical practice, technical interviews, and also just engage my colleagues on the platform, learning from the team. For the behavioral side, I would say Michelle, Niti, and Davina were very great. They will train you so that you would gain the most confidence you can get. I would say they are the best in terms of how you approach the initial phase of interviews. Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, I agree. I always tell students that, hey, the first screening calls or the first video calls that are the most critical, you got to take them very seriously. That's like a stepping stone towards your final technical interview or HR interview. And many students or job seekers don't take that seriously. They don't even pick up the calls. So that's not good.
Yeah, that's true. Initial phase of interview is like the key to getting into a company. So when you fail to be successful at it, you lose your chances, even though you are technically sound and very good at your job, you are likely to lose your chance in going through the next phase of an interview or a job opportunity. So I'll say ElevateMe has provided that service to a level that right now I'm even talking to you, I have that same confidence as I did in my recent interview and where I've landed my job. So let's practice here.
Yeah, it reminds me of my days of as a job seeker when I graduated and as an international student or from out of the country, right? And with the lack of confidence and all of that, we all have to go through. But one of the thing that I remember from my job seeking days were like even if I'm in like taking a shower and if I get a call, I would pick up the call and then answer it. And I used to live in a EST time zone. I know you live nearby New Jersey. I was in a Plainsboro, which is a close by town.
Yeah.
So I was living there, and I remember, in the taking calls in the shower or in the evening when I'm out doing something, but I get a call from the PST time zone. I would pick up the call no matter where I am.
Mhm. Nice.
So it's a very important tool. So that's a really good advice that you gave me, and all the students out there looking for a job, very very important.
Yeah, yeah.
So you mentioned couple of challenges before Elevate Me that hey you had to apply for a lot of jobs, not having confidence to clear the interviews, initial calls. So those are really good. Most people face those challenges. So how that was impacting your personal life or anything like that without a job? Tell us a little bit about that.
It's challenging because when you have no confidence in even just communicating how you are interested in a position, it makes it you lose confidence in yourself an extent that you feel like you are not ready to get this job. And one other thing that I do remember was that there are instances where I'll get a phone call from a company, and when I answer the first question they ask is, introduce yourself to me.
Mm,
Right. So these are basic questions that mostly the HR personnel or the screening interviewer would ask you. So you not knowing how to introduce yourself because of lack of confidence, yeah, it was really bad. There are cases where I would stammer in how I answer my questions, but with the help of the team, especially the behavioral team, it was very good for me to practice, and it helped me actually progress and build confidence in answering the screening questions.
that is amazing. Osman, after we started Elevate Me, we realized that the students are facing this challenge. So we assigned Niti to start preparing students for the screening calls. So, and you are the exact beneficiary of our initiative that we took internally. And this is amazing to see the results and see the fruits of that initiative.
Yeah.
Because that's what we realize. Oh, the students are not able to crack the initial interviews, no matter how much they know, technically they are strong, not gonna matter.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
makes sense. So
Oh,
thanks for sharing that.
you're welcome. So one thing I also want to add is even even though you are technically sound and somewhat confident, how you represent yourself in the initial screening also matters, right? So
Right.
you have to be confident, speak politely, interact with the interviewer. Don't let it be like question and answer. uh,
Mhm.
what is matter, and then you define matter. No, you have to make it a friendly environment where you can interact and just have a feel of each other so that the screening process will go smoothly and successfully.
Makes sense. Thanks so much, Osman, for sharing. Very, very important point you shared. So at the time of Elevate Me reached out to you and started talking about these, did you explore any other options in the market? What were your options and what made you choose Elevate Me over others?
So immediately there were two services I was looking at, but one thing I did was I went to ElevateMe website and read the reviews, and there were very positive reviews about ElevateMe. And also, my initial point of contact with ElevateMe gave me a motivation to proceed with the process because I felt like this is where I can build myself and prepare myself for my career in terms of cracking interviews and getting a job.
That makes sense. Thanks for sharing. So you talked about the positive reviews, which we have a ton of them on our website, and hopefully this will help us as well to land more jobs for the international talent. So Osman, like, was there any doubts when you were looking at the Elevate Me? What kind of doubts you had in your mind, and tell us a little bit about that.
So in terms of that, I was skeptical because there are a lot of Indian firms out there that are also providing this kind of services. But to be sure that Elevate Me is the best choice, after I did my review, I made inquiries from the Elevate Me LinkedIn profile and noticed that a lot of the people that were enrolled in Elevate Me had good jobs.
Hmm.
It's not just any random jobs, but very good jobs. And
Mhm.
you could see on their profiles how they are doing. And that also convinced me that this is legit. It wasn't just a fluke.
Nice. Thanks so much for sharing. We'll try to do that more so people can build more trust with the people.
Yeah.
So, Osman, after you joined Elevate Me, and what are the, you of course talked earlier about a lot of improvements in the confidence and initial screening round. Maybe you can mention that, but what were the few initial improvement you noticed in yourself right after you joined Elevate Me?
Um, Number one would be communication, like
Mm,
how to communicate, because for somebody to understand you, you have to know how to communicate, right? So
right.
I learned that from the initial phase at Elevate Me. And also in terms of the behavioral aspects,
Mm,
it was a community, right? So everybody had an input or everybody had to say something, and you will learn from others on how they communicate, right? So it's just a blend of different cultures and different viewpoints. So that actually helped me also learn how to interact with different people from different cultures and different people and different viewpoints, right? So that was very key.
That's very powerful, Osman. You know what? Like where I spoke with many students, and that is the one thing that every student have told me. Like, hey, when I see other job seekers just like me on the calls, and they are all like sharing their story and how they are struggling, and it kind of made it feel like a community, and so much of learning from each other, sharing stories and sharing struggles. So that is always stands out, and that's so powerful to have like a just a support,
Yeah.
your team with you, and then the other people are also job seeking and just talking with them. And it's a really powerful, which I didn't realize when we put together, but after I realized when students started sharing with me.
Okay. Yeah, it is actually good because
Mhm.
having a good community also contributed to success. So I
Mhm.
would say it was a good initiative from your team.
Thank you. So, Osman, you joined, you getting few improvements, and then we also do a lot of job applications and interview preparation. Tell us a little bit about that, how that helped, job application, how did it save your time and interview prep and gives you back more time to earn more money or, do some other things. Tell us a little bit about that.
I would say so. Joining Elevate Me helped me structure my time properly
Mm,
because I had a side hustle whilst I was seeking employment with Elevate Me through Elevate Me. Sorry, the way they scheduled their screening calls, their training calls, technical interview prep sessions favored me in terms of the time I wanted to participate and also contribute to the team and also learn for myself.
mm,
So I would say um, I've learned greatly on how to use my time and
mm,
also monitor my emails without thinking about how many applications I have to submit, right? Elevate Me had a team, a good working team, always applying for these jobs, over thousands of jobs a day. So you are likely to get a lot of emails. So what I did was I had enough time to go through some of these emails. There are cases where I might miss one or two, but the team
mm,
would actually give me a feedback immediately. I get a response from a company,
mm.
actually attend to it, which was very good.
That I agree, Usman. That's a really one thing that I appreciate about our team, which they are doing really good and they care about their candidates and students. They go through the email, they make sure you're not missing anything as you're busy in your life doing other things. They track it and they let you know, hey, we got a response here. Hey, we gotta send an email here. Hey, we have a meeting here. Let's prepare. We got an interview. Let's prepare. So they push for the interview preparation as well.
Yeah.
uh, so that's amazing that you are getting benefit of that and you're recognizing that that's more important.
Oh, yes.
So tell us a little bit about, your interview preparation and, of course, Niti, Divina have helped you a lot in the interview preparation and also technical mentors.
Mm.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, so I'll say, I'll take it one at a time. So for the behavioral session, for example, we just talk about things that are practical in the work environment, right? So how do you prepare for an interview if
Mm,
you are asked? how do you relate to somebody, a coworker, if the coworker doesn't submit a document on time. So basically, I prepared with the team because the team contributed most of the things I didn't know, right? And how I actually structured myself to respond to some of these kind of questions. I would say Evina was great in terms of that. Like she would drill you and ask you same questions just to make sure you understand how to respond to some of these behavioral questions. And there are some star processes that we use to respond to some of these behavioral questions and even in technical questions too. And I would say most of the time, students have it difficult in basically answering the question in a constructed manner, right? They ask you a question that has nothing to do with statistics,
Mm-hmm.
but because you've already learned technical terms in your head and you are answering the question with statistics, they don't want to hear that. They want to hear interpersonal relationship at work. Those are kind of questions that they ask for behavioral interviews. And for the technical interview, great, very, very great, because we had a project which was structured for every team. We had Saga and Mona and one other team member. I can't recollect his name, but yes, he was great in training us on how to structure our projects, and we weren't using any just dummy data. We were using real world applications that like when you go to a company, you will see them using it, right? So the technical aspects was great because I learned so much myself. I didn't know Azure a lot, but through the technical preparation for interviews, I learned a lot. Also, one thing I would say is ElevateMe provide a lot of resources where you can assess yourself during during the training phase and see how you are progressing in terms of technical skills and how you answer technical questions in an interview.
Well, Osman, you're so great, man. These are the initiatives that we decided internally, and you're like, talking about it, it makes like gives me goosebumps. So Sagar, our technical mentor, came up with this idea like, hey, let's assess people so they know where they are and where they need to improve. So that was his initiative, which he took, which is amazing, and you are beneficiary of that. And also the live project, that's amazing because we are not like working on some fascinating something random stuff. It's a real world application, real world project data,
Yes.
and so you get the real hands-on experience. So that's amazing to hear that you got the benefit of that, which we
Yeah.
put a lot of hard work behind the scene. Thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome.
So, now it's a drum roll time. Please share us the package and the, company. And if you are not comfortable sharing company, the industry, where did you landed the job and the package, Osman?
For confidentiality, I'll
Yeah,
just
it's okay. You can
know that.
skip
But
as well.
yeah, but I'll say my success story was that ElevateMe actually helped me prepare myself to go through multiple interviews, not just one interview. Like
Mm.
you are likely to get, I'll say in a month, you are likely to get more than 10 interviews.
Mm.
So preparing for interview is very, very, very important.
Mm.
And ElevateMe provided that service. So even before you go into an interview, they will schedule a
Mm.
call with you and make
Mm.
sure you prepare yourself. Where
Mm.
you find weakness, you correct them.
Mm.
And doing so, I'll say I was able to be successful in cracking most of my interviews. There are cases where you would do well in the interview, but somebody did better, so you don't get selected in the next stage. But that is all to part of the process. So
Part of the process.
yeah, so I would say, but most of the work should be done by you, not just the Elevate Me
Yes.
technical team and the behavioral team.
Yep. Yep.
You have to do a lot of, because for example, the role that I got at my current company has little to do with most of this data analytical tools that we use, but it's in Microsoft ecosystem. where you could use Power Automate and Power Apps to automate a lot of processes. And these are not like data analysts. You have to code, use Tableau. No, you would use those for reporting and visualization purposes, but you have to do a lot of learning on your own. And there are cases where maybe a job has 90% match and you lack maybe 10%. So you have to work towards that 10% to make sure the next time a job like that comes along, you get selected and you crack the interview.
That's amazing. That thanks for sharing that. That makes sense. I always say that we learn how to learn because learning never ends. So when you start a job, of course, there's not going to be 100% match ever. If you're lucky, if you get like 60% match. And the work that you're gonna do here, Power Automate and Power Apps, very familiar with that. Uh, and I feel like that's the best work you can have now in the world of AI. Because in
Yes,
a world of AI, the data analytics, machine learning engineers' jobs gonna reduce. You need to learn about the processes,
yes.
about the business, and how to use tools, AI or Power Automate or multiple tools to streamline the processes. And that's the best position to be at this point. That's what I feel, Osman.
That's very, very true because every company has a different domain. So you exposing yourself to new technical skills is very, very important, I would say. So if ElevateMe does, let's say 45%, you have to do the rest in a
Correct.
nutshell. Yeah.
And
So
we never claim that we're gonna do, land you the job or something. We just can help. We
yes,
can provide a support, but it is a teamwork at the end, right? We
definitely,
can't do it by ourselves. We can, cook a food, but we can make you eat the food.
definitely.
At the end, you have to eat the food. So very well said, and I agree. So, Osman, how did you feel the team's responsiveness if you need something, or were they available for you?
Oh, very timely. Like when you message anybody on the team, instantly you get a response. Like there is no day you would message a team member and it will go 30 minutes and you don't get a response.
Wow.
At least I'll say maybe 5 to 10 minutes.
Mhm.
The response are normally instant. So yeah, in terms of response, yeah, the team was always on time. I'll give great appreciation to Divina. She was she was always available for me, even though there are cases where I might not be available, but she would make time and then just support me when I need it. So,
It's amazing. So, Usman, who did your job application and job marketing? Who was the CS,
so Hashvadan was
career service
my
executive?
career service. He was great.
Mm.
So he will call me in the morning and say, "Oh, bro, we have an interview. So you want me to schedule a call?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, let's schedule a call. Let's prep."
Mm.
And he will send me the JD so that I can prepare very well because he was always on time in terms of my communication with him. Um, I haven't had any issue with Hashvadan, I would say. Most
Yeah. Yeah, he's
he's like
amazing.
he's like a leech.
Ah, yeah, yeah. Always behind you, right? Like what
Exactly.
related?
Always behind you, calling you to make sure you
Right.
are okay and you are preparing for your interview. And if you need any help, yeah,
Great.
he's very great at that. So I'll give
That's
him
great.
those. Yeah.
Yeah, and also I can see the confidence as well in you, Osman. When I ask you the about the salary, you were able to tell me confidently, hey, it's a confidential data. So that's amazing. I see that you can interact with any executive at any level, which is going to become more and more important in the world of AI. The programmer's job and data analyst jobs gonna go away. You need to communicate well. You need to understand the business. You need to be show confident and be confident. So. I can see that coming from you.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Greatly appreciate your team for impacting me with that.
Of course. So, beyond salary and job, all of that, of course, Osman, but how this is gonna impact your life, the Elevate Me experience, and how do you see this impacting your life?
I would say it's like a uplift for me. So one thing that I've learned from Elevate Me that has actually impacted me the most is communication.
Mm,
So I would say that is going to actually help me a lot
mm,
because you can have the data you want, but if you can't interpret it, you can't present it, uh,
mm,
it's nothing, right? So you have to actually present the data in a communicate where like even non-technical stakeholders should understand whatever you are saying, right? So that is the most important thing I would say. Yeah,
mm.
communication. Yeah.
Okay, so Usman, last couple of questions. Like there are a lot of job seekers are out there looking for a job on their own, trying on their own. They have side hustles, doing their things. They're busy. What's your message to them? What they should be doing? Of course, you don't feel like, but you're inspiration for them. They are looking for a job and they don't know what to do next. What would you say to them? What they should be doing?
I would say find a service like Elevate Me or the only service that I would recommend. But yeah, so find a service like Elevate Me where they will support you in your own way. Even though you would have other things going on, Elevate Me is there to support you to land the dream job that you are looking for.
Got it. Osman, thank you so much for that feedback. And I'm very, very happy for you. Congratulations once again.
Thank
And
you.
we'll be always in touch. Thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you, Asani.